Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board & Co, and we're diving into news and week in review. We're going to have a whole bunch of usual things, news, week in review, what I played, all the usual stuff diving into that. But with that, let's start off with the first of many expansions and game and all those kinds of announcements, and timestamps and links all down below. Check out what you'd like. But starting off with Vagrantsong Expansion. With a Vagrantsong Expansion announced by Weird Miniatures, Weird Games. They basically announced the Encore expansion for Vagrantsong. The show has ended, the audience wants more, and there's going to indeed be more for a large expansion for the game, for Vagrantsong. They had some previous update in the past, some small little things, but this is the first big box expansion they're going to have, coming from Weird Games. Then from there, we have Azul coming in with a travel edition, for those of you who really needed a small box version of Azul to play through. If you do want that, well, they're going to have this mini edition of Azul for you, in case you're interested in that. For myself, I tend to play regular Azul, and then when I'm traveling, I tend to use Board Game Arena. Also, when I'm home, I tend to use Board Game Arena, because it's a great way to play with people who aren't around you, or random strangers on the internet when you need a 5-minute coffee break, because sometimes a game of Overwatch is going to take 25 minutes and you don't have 25 minutes, so 5 minutes it is. So you know what? You pop on Board Game Arena, you find someone, you play Azul, you have some fun, it's a good moment, you lose horribly, you play again, and before you know it, 25 minutes later, you're done playing Azul, and you could have played Overwatch anyway, but you're better off because you played 5 games of Azul, and that's kind of better anyway, and you think about it. So, that's that. Or you can get this pocket edition over here. There's that option as well. From there, we have Tapestry, Fantasies, and Features Expansion. Starmount Games had 2 updates. We're going to get to the second one soon, but the first one, which is the least exciting of the 2, the second one's a big deal, but the first one's also a big deal. Tapestry has the Fantasies and Features Expansion coming for pre-order March 1st, I believe it was. Yeah, launching on March 1st. The pre-order will be showing up. If you're a Stonemaier champion, you have all these other options and things and free shipping and stuff. Worth considering if you're buying multiple of their games. Less worth considering if you're just getting this single one. Then we have over here, we have a new Dark Souls miniatures. This is actually the wrong link for the record. I don't have the right link right now, but this is the last time they updated it. But there's going to be new Dark Souls miniatures for the RPG, or if you want to get more Dark Souls miniatures, coming from Steamforged Games. Almost said Stonemaier Games because the ST that I just covered threw me off my game for a second, but we got this. Steamforged Games, Dark Souls miniatures. They also have some update as well around the Tales of Academia or whatnot. They had some more updates around that as well, although I don't have that link right now. We additionally have the Mind Soulmates, a new version of the Mind from I don't even know who's from. NSV announced a new Mind collection. Basically, I mean, Panasaurus at one point had some distribution, or the title, I don't know the exact details, but we have the Mind Soulmates, a new way to play the Mind, which I haven't actually looked into this at all as far as the actual gameplay, so I can't speak to that. But what I will say is, the Mind's the kind of game where I don't know if I necessarily feel the need for a new version to play it. I'd probably have to read through this. The choice of the addition to getting these cards, you must play cards face down, revealing them. It follows the same principles of the Mind, where you're trying to get numbered cards in the right order. But you play the cards face down, revealing them only after they've been played. Okay. Sounds impossible. The seer gets to look at some of the cards and can give them clues. Oh no, that's stupid. Okay, cool. I'm moving on from this. I'm sorry, that was a little harsh. This seems like a needless... I'd want to read the rules for this. This seems like a needless adjustment to a game that works well in terms of what it's doing. And the Mind's very specific, because it's not really a great game. It's a good experience. And this is kind of just a more complicated version of that, which means I'm kind of instinctively going to pass on it. But if you want, over here, we have Super Meeple is releasing the Expeditions, a game called Expeditions with good-looking art, and it's Super Meeple. They generally have good-looking components. So they have a few. I have, what do I have for them? I can see it right over there. I can't remember what game it is. No, I can't see it. They have a bunch of games. Super Meeple has a bunch of games. Good quality productions. But this is Expeditions. Box cover looks great. Components that I can kind of see over there look less impressive, but I'm definitely interested because... Oh, that's the original version. Oh, that's National Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm misunderstanding this. National Geographic had a version of this game, and this is a different game? I'm intrigued, but now I'm a job hesitant. Sometimes redone versions of older games can be amazing, other times less so, and I don't know which one this will be, but I do know is we have Unmatched Digital Edition. For those of you who love Unmatched, it's available in early access on Steam for $20 for the game, and I'm actually kind of intrigued by it, despite having multiple times having had said that Unmatched is a game experience that I didn't love. I wonder if the digital version would be better. Not enough to spend $20 on it, to be very clear. I don't actually want to take the risk on that one, but sometimes digital versions can work where a non-digital version didn't, and vice versa as well. For me, Unmatched didn't feel like a system that I loved. Maybe if I was playing through a bunch of games online, I would like it more. Perhaps. But we'll never ever really know, will we? I mean, not never, ever. Life's a long time. Not right now, at least. Then additionally, we have over here the Grand Central Skyport. I don't know anything about this game. The art looks cool, though. Andrew Bosley, that will do it for you. It's from 21st Century Games. That's enough for me to be vaguely interested in the Grand... Let me just show you that. Let me just zoom in on that box over there. The Grand Central Skyport. Look at that. Andrew Bosley will always hook me on a game in terms of interest, not in terms of actually getting or liking or keeping, but interest level will always be straight up there as soon as he touches it. And then we have the bigger news from Stonemaier Games. We have a new Scythe, not expansion, a new version in the Scythe line. This is going to be the sequel to Scythe, a different game in the same universe with different mechanics, a competitive card-driven tile exploration engine-building sequel to Scythe. Pre-order now, shipping in July. So you can pre-order this right now, shipping in July. Kind of includes 5 large miniatures, a bunch of location tiles, 100 uniquely illustrated cards. Looks cool offhand. I'm definitely interested. Scythe to me was always a game that I respected what it was doing, but it never locked for me. It was a game that I always thought was very good, but I didn't feel the love for it. I'm always happy to play it. It's one of those games like I played it like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. I've enjoyed it every time. It's kind of like similar vein as Great Western Trail for me. Really like it. Never pushed me over the edge, so we'll see. But this is Expeditions from Jamie Stegmaier from Stonemaier Games. That's Expeditions, designed by him as well. Then we have over here, we have Star Wars Shatterpoint core set and more available for pre-order. This is not the first time we're talking about this. This is the new Star Wars miniatures game. Just that now you can actually go ahead and pre-order it in case you heard the news whenever I talked about it last, or whichever other outlets that you follow. And then from there, we have the availability of actually pre-ordering this new Star Wars miniatures game. You see lots of news today, lots and lots of news. Then we have Moon River from Blue Orange Games. This is going to be a tile-laying King Domino-esque style game. Don't know much about it. The art looks amazing. Usually that's enough for me to be interested. Not enough for me to keep it. See previous notes on Andrew Bosley. But this is also from Bruno Cathala over here, which is definitely another reason to be intrigued by it. And it's a King Domino game system. I liked Queen Domino more than I like King Domino, but I kept neither of them. So does Moon River work for me or not? I don't know yet. We'll find out. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. Then we have Portal Games is going to have Imperial Miners. Is going to be releasing a game by Tim Armstrong, creator of Orbis and Arcana Rising, set in the same world as Imperial Settlers. So this is like another iteration or version, standalone game with engine building. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued because it's got a lot of the art's great. I always like the Imperial Settlers concept. Ultimately, we'll just find out whether or not this is a game that, maybe I'll play it at some point. Probably, maybe. I don't have a backlog at all. And then we have, I think that's what we have as far as all the game news and updates and all that, which means it's time for 3 other small things that are less game related. We have Board Game Co. over here. That's just my channel. This is just my community page in case you want to check that out. But basically, we have, I have stuff, whatever, you can see it over here. I have some stuff for members only over here, but the reason I went over here is because I had a poll, if you want to go ahead and contribute to this. Basically, do you have any interest in a board game retreat in the tri-state area, that's New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, with an all-inclusive price for the retreat, hotel, entry to the expo, and access to all events? Basically, the very short version is I'm currently in the process of just doing a discovery with some other people involved about the general idea as to whether or not there's a conversation or interest in a retreat / convention / whatever in the tri-state area. If you click further on that link over here, if you do the little read more, there's a longer poll with more questions for those who actually want to answer a bunch of things and guide what this might be, where it might be, and things like that. If you are in any way interested in this, I do recommend taking the questionnaire because it will 100% affect what this actually looks like if it actually happens. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. No promises, no commitments. Right now it's just in the discovery phase of trying to figure out if there's an actual target audience for this event or not. So we'll find out. But it'll be cool. So answer, look into it, let me know what you think and all that stuff. And with that, moving on to, where are we over here? That's that. Moving on to the next piece before we get to Gamefound over here. This is Gamefound. Please note, disclaimer, I work for Gamefound, take that into account, but I'm also just sharing a news piece over here. In fact, this is from Polygon. Basically, Gamefound fell short of its 2022 goals, but still ate into Kickstarter's lead in tabletop. This is an interesting article from Polygon. They interviewed Marcin, from founder of Gamefound, and you can go ahead and go through this. Basically, just covers some general details about Gamefound, about their goals, about the impact they've had on the crowdfunding space, what they've hit into Kickstarter, the portion they've cut into Kickstarter, but also having not hit their goals that they were trying to hit, they were trying to hit in 2022. And so you can check this out if you want to just get a little bit of information about what goes on behind the scenes in Gamefound and some of the things going on there. The very short version, speaking of somebody who works there, is lots of fun things are happening. You've seen updates here and there about the platform, about the growth of it, but also there's a lot of ambitious growth, and crowdfunding in general, with everything going on in the shipping space, saw a lot of hits to it. This article covers it, but Kickstarter Kickstarter in general saw a big hit as well, and so it's a big conversation around the space and then back into the space, which is fascinating. Overall, I think this is a very interesting piece and worth reading in case you're interested in the crowdfunding space. And then lastly, in very sad news, we have over here, we have Dicebreaker, well not Dice, from Dicebreaker, we have Serge Laget passed away, the designer of Shadows of Camelot, of Nidavellir, a bunch of other games. He's done a bunch of designs for a variety of games, Mystery of the Abbey, Ad Astra, a whole bunch of games over here, and he unfortunately passed away. So apologies and condolences to everyone there, and that is what we have for that. Which brings us to, usually we'd have a topic of the week right now. Let me go ahead and close this up. Usually we'd have a topic of the week, but there are enough news things right now that I decided not to have a topic of the week, and instead go straight into the what I played conversation. So, what I played, going over, again, this is for those of you who have not tuned in a bit, the what I played has moved from me covering all the games I played in the past week, and instead focusing on a few that I want to talk about, and in this case we're going to talk about 3. First of all, we're going to talk about Living Well. Living Well is the Best Revenge specifically. It's part of a series of games from... oh my gosh, from Stephen Rhodes. Stephen Rhodes had a series of games. They actually had 2 series of games. They had an original series of 3, and then they recently had a series of 3. I've been playing through the revised series of 3 that recently landed. I'll be covering them all shortly, but I want to talk about Living Well specifically. It's basically a game in which you have 10 cards, and you roll dice to activate those cards, and then depending on the cards that are activated, you possibly get abilities, but once everything's activated, or you can't activate things, you kind of bust, so to speak, and the round can eventually end. You do this 3 times, add up your score, and see who won. It's a fun, quick, simple game that has a very Catan vibe to it, with a little bit of agency around how you choose and activate things. Enough decision space to be a game that's interesting for a few plays, but also a kind of game that I think is more mass market appeal, or mass market plus appeal, than something that's going to stick around for me. I pulled it out. Had a friend over whose kid likes playing games, and whenever they visit, I usually pull some more gateway-friendly games out to play with them. I went through a bunch of games. Everyone really enjoyed it. It was a good time. I think it is on the lighter side. For myself, games like Valeria Card Kingdoms are going to hit that spot in my collection, but I overall enjoyed it. It was arguably my favorite of the 3 in that series. All 3 of them were pretty good games that feel like they're bridging nicely the gamer space and the more gateway space. They're all accessible, very accessible, short rules, quick and easy to play, all of them feeling like simplified versions of other games. You know, what's it called? The other ones were the Exorcist, let's call it the Exorcist, which is almost like a simplified Resistance, and then we have Cryptozoology, which is almost like a simplified Seven Wonders, although maybe a simplified Sushi Go, somewhere in that genre. Although if you're thinking, what's a simplified version of those games? Well, this is the simplified version of those games. So all of them are very gateway plus, very gateway friendly. I'll have full coverage on them, you can check that out later. We also have Tranquility the Ascent, which is a game that I was disappointed about. Also, I saw an update today that basically said Tranquility the Ascent is having some potential production issues and having a hard time getting a hold of the people involved, and so that's a little bit sad because I backed that game, was very excited for the game. We'll see what actually happens with the game, but I love Tranquility. Tranquility is a phenomenal game, really enjoy it, and Tranquility the Ascent is the version of Tranquility that kind of has you building up a row of cards in kind of a mountain. I dove into it for the first time this past week. I think I prefer playing it on Board Game Arena, in case you're wondering how their production issues and I can't get it, but also I played it because I played it on Board Game Arena, which is a fantastic site that I use all the time. But past that, on Board Game Arena, I played through Tranquility Ascent, just solo, just to learn it. I enjoyed Tranquility a lot, and I finally wanted to bite the bullet and figure out how to play the Ascent. And I thought it was good, but not the same intriguing puzzle that the original Tranquility had. The original Tranquility had a great degree of freeform to the laying out of the board, and Ascent feels a little more constricted to what's currently available. It feels more, you know what actually it feels like? Tranquility feels like a delightful puzzle of efficiency optimization and a little degree of statistics of what will and won't happen, and trying to figure out the play pattern of when you did and didn't discard cards. And Tranquility the Ascent feels a bit like The Mind, which is a game I got rid of when I played Tranquility. So I don't think I have to play it more. I only dove into it solo as well, which also changes the pattern. But I don't think Tranquility the Ascent is going to stick around. I think it feels more like The Mind, which I got rid of, because Mind was great, and Tranquility the Ascent is great. And I think Tranquility is better. And then lastly, we have Endeavor Deep Sea. Endeavor Deep Sea is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is one, well, caveat, played it once, take that into account, but second caveat, it's built on the Endeavor system, which I've played a whole bunch of times. So 2 caveats there, so to speak, which brings you back to a nice round, no caveats, they all balance it out. But effectively, Endeavor Deep Sea, I played it one time, so take that into account with a grain of salt until I play it more, and I will be playing it more, but as of right now, it was absolutely fantastic. It built on the best parts of the Endeavor system that I really enjoyed, the way you build up the tableau, the way you gather specialists instead of buildings, and you're slowly getting stronger, more powerful, and upgrading all your stats, and then the way it builds those stats is just much more compelling than the original Endeavor. I found the entire experience significantly more enjoyable, and I will say as well, and it's worth noting this in case you are someone who's looking at Endeavor and Endeavor Deep Sea, I walked into my play of Endeavor Deep Sea expecting to like it less than Endeavor, because the card system that they kind of had set up just seemed less compelling than the giant board that Endeavor has, and I just felt it wasn't going to pull me in the same way, and it pulled me in more. It was delightful, it was tight, it was tense, it was a beautiful production engine of how to just make everything work beautifully. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Endeavor Deep Sea, and we'll talk more about it when I play it more. It'll be review coverage, I'm sure of it. And I mean, I'm sure I'll like it, that's not the question. The question is, how high will my opinion stand, you know, a while from now. And that's what we have as far as those things, which means we're going to go into, as far as what we have as far as games we played, which means we dive into the week in review, all the videos from the past week, as usual, timestamp, links, all those things down below. But starting off with this past Saturday, I had an Unconscious Mind walkthrough. This is a sponsored video from Fantasia Games. They sponsored a bit of a, hey, here's the Pledge Manager, here's a bit of a walkthrough, let's show you what's going on. So check that out in case you want a bit of a guide through the Pledge Manager and what to get, what not to get, what's in different pledge levels and all these things. All hopefully a helpful video to help guide you through Unconscious Mind, which, by the way, and again, caveat that this is a sponsored video, but Unconscious Mind is absolutely fantastic. Secondly, over on Saturday, we had, late on Saturday, we had a video from Marvel United, a playthrough of Marvel United Sinister 6. None of these videos, speaking of sponsored content, none of the tons of Marvel United content I've been doing recently have in any way been sponsored by CMON or asked by CMON to do anything. CMON to ask. None of it's been in any way been an affiliate with them. Literally, Devin was here, and I was like, we both like Marvel United a lot, and I was like, this is a good time to do a bunch of Marvel United videos. We're going to play through Infinity Wars, we're going to play through the Sinister 6, I'll do a bunch of shorts, we'll have a fun conversation around it, because we enjoy Marvel United. And so that's basically it. Like, I saw some people who were like, oh my gosh, there's a Infinity Wars playthrough. That means there's going to be they're going to have, like, I guess, you know, the ability to get original content from the game. And I was like, no, I mean, maybe, probably, but not because of this. This is unaffiliated, nothing to do with them. They didn't know we were doing it. This is just us playing through a game we like, because it's a good time to play through a game we like. Fun fact, this is currently over here on my desk, because Devin's going to be visiting again next week. We're going to be playing through more X-Men. Okay, that's what's going to happen. We're going to be playing through X-Men United. Why? Because we like the game system. That's all. When will those videos go up? I have no idea. I'll probably give you a bit of a breather, because why not? Too much Marvel United gameplays in a short time frame is a little much, but either way, we'll come back to that later. Then on Sunday we had upcoming campaigns for February, going through just the upcoming campaigns in February. As usual, subscribe to Shelf Clutter in case you want the newest, up-to-date, most information. But past that, February is chock full of a bunch of interesting campaigns, and March will be worse, and April will be worse, and then May will be worse, and then June, July, maybe we'll have a break, and then it'll get worse and worse again. It'll never really truly end. There's always fun board games to tempt your attention away, and then also my channel, which will do the same. But also keep in mind that I cover like 300 games a year or something like that, or more. I cover a lot of games every year, and I only really hype up like 10, 15 or so. So enjoy those 10 or 15, because those are the ones that I really like. Doesn't mean you'll like them, by the way. Like, you know, it's just saying. Anyways, moving on to later on Sunday, we had a review for an review. That's not true at all. We had an unboxing for the Isofarian Guard. This is one that I've actually done before. I've done an unboxing and gameplay a while ago, like a year ago. And now again, I did an unboxing and gameplay with the newer stuff and newer content. You can check that out. But on Sunday, we had the unboxing of the Isofarian Guard. Feel free to see just how ridiculously gigantic that box is. It's bigger than Frosthaven. It's a little insane. It's a little intense. It's a little much. And that was Sunday. On Monday, we had 2 back and not to back, going through the most recent campaigns, all the latest updates, all that stuff. We'll have another one this next coming week, I imagine, I assume, I believe. Then on Tuesday I had a review for Seven Wonders. Why a review for Seven Wonders? Hasn't the game been out for a long time? Yes, it has, but I filmed a bunch of review content for WSBG, not for WSBG, but when I was going to WSBG, I knew I was going to be away for a week, and I was like, I have to make sure I have plenty of videos. So I was like, what if I just reviewed all the games that are in the World Series of Board Gaming? Fun fact, I recommend you check out the World Series of Board Games. Also, fun fact, this video is not sponsored, but they have sponsored other stuff from me. But anyways, WSBG, so I was like, I'll review all their games and put up those videos that week. And then I proceeded to have other time-sensitive content that had to go up those weeks. So I was like, okay, these videos will get pushed and pushed and pushed. And so, like, I have a bunch of review content for WSBG games that just haven't gone up yet. So Seven Wonders went up this past Tuesday. I filmed it because of WSBG, and it's been a while. Hopefully all the other ones will be up and done by the time WSBG rolls around. With that was Tuesday. Well, that was one video on Tuesday. Later on Tuesday, we had a gameplay of Caesar, Seize Rome in 20 minutes. This is a gameplay of myself and Devin. 2 games head-to-head, back-to-back, going through who will win and who will not. Also, we cheated a little bit. There was a rules mistake. There's lots of rules mistakes in videos. We'll talk about that. I'm going to do a full video on rules mistakes and gameplays. Why? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I will. It depends if there's enough to actually be a full video. Otherwise, it can be a topic of the week in the Week in Review. And then lastly, on Tuesday, we had Marvel Dice Throne Review. This is another one that I've been holding on to for a while. I went through Marvel Dice Throne a while ago. It's just been, again, I film a lot of stuff in advance, and things just get pushed and rearranged based on what's more or less time sensitive. And so Marvel Dice Throne, it's been around for a bit, but if you want to check out some review content around the Marvel Dice Throne system, I go through it, including ranking my personal favorite heroes in order as well. Then on Wednesday, we had the gameplay for Isofarian Guard, going into a boss gameplay specifically in the Isofarian Isofarian Guard. I overall enjoy Isofarian Guard. In case you want short thoughts and opinions, I did a first impressions a while ago. I don't think my opinion has changed yet, but I really enjoy the system of Isofarian Guard, while also feeling that it can be a bit repetitive as you go through it. That is something that I am still holding my opinion in check a bit until I really heavily dive into the system properly for like 20-30 hours straight. Right now, I really like it, and I do plan on diving into it. It's a great and enjoyable system, and has some of the best audio and storytelling and all that stuff. But ultimately, I do want to see, for right now it's a 4 to 5, with the potential for it to go up, and very unlikely for it to go down, but we'll see. That was Tuesday as far as the gameplay. That was Wednesday as far as the gameplay. Later on Wednesday, we had the weekly live, going through a bit of a conversation around myself, and Devin, and Meg, and this was a few things. It was the most essential expansions, in case you want to find out that. So we had the most essential expansions, games we won't play without the expansions. So us just going through a bit of a round robin, talking about those various games, and then we also had a game show, because we started doing that every week. I don't know how long this will last, but for right now, it's a segment that we have, which is a game show. This time was a question about first player rules, and that was fun. At least it seemed fun, but we'll go through that. Feel free to check out, guess along, see if you can get it, because there are definitely some hard ones in there. There definitely were some hard ones. Which game, for those of you who didn't watch this, what game has the first player rule, the most humble player starts first? I'm curious how many of you get that, because I would not have gotten that. That's over there, and that brings us to later on Wednesday, last day on Wednesday I should say, we had a unboxing for Tanares Adventures. 2 unboxings in 1 week. Fortunately, there was not a third. I debated throwing up another one on Friday. They come in waves, and I have a bunch of these giant boxes to unbox. But speaking of which, I'm not going to grab it. Whatever. But Tanares Adventures, I went through a unboxing of Tanares Adventures, the core box, and I'm halfway through the 80-page rulebook by now, so I'm ready to go. Pretty much ready to go. I'm going to be playing through it soon. I'm very excited. We'll see what happens there. That was Tanares Adventures, which brings us to Thursday. Over on Thursday, we had 2021 Hidden Gems. This is the start of a video series where I've been going through. I did towards the end of 2022. I did 5 videos in 2021, and the first of this is going up this week, or went up this week. It was basically Hidden Gems, 15 Hidden Gems from 2021. There are games that I think were slightly less popular that are worth looking at and seeing if they are a fit for you. They are not necessarily the best games ever, but they are enjoyable games, many of which I own, that I think are worth taking a look at in case you skipped past them in some way, shape, or form. Which brings us to Friday. Friday we had 5 reasons not to back or buy a game. These are videos I do from time to time, a regular reminder of the counter FOMO aspect. I show you a lot of games, I show you a lot of fun things, and then many of them are very good and very cool, and many of games that are very good I also get rid of, because there's only so many good games you can have, and there are so many games out there. I am constantly compelled by the games I know I love and by the games that I want to love, and I'm constantly making hard choices about what stays and what leaves, and honestly I should be purging half my Euros. I don't play them as much as I want to. I love them though. It's so hard. It's so hard to get rid of these great games. I need to figure out my problems here. Anyways, that's as far as Friday's video. Which brings us to today. Today we have a few things. First of all, we have a review for Dex Dixon. That's going to be an upcoming or shortly went up campaign, I believe. As well as a review for Search for the Lost Species. I say that one optimistically because I haven't filmed it yet, so hopefully I get the film in time. Otherwise, it'll probably be going up Tuesday instead, although there's a bunch of videos that have to go up Tuesday I haven't filmed yet either. So it's going to be a busy week, is what I'm saying. It's going to be a busy week. And with that, next week, speaking of next week, as far as next week, we have a few things. We're going to have a Should You Back It on Marvel United going up Sunday, right before they drop their all-in, so my Should You Back It will be appropriately out of date by the time you see it, which is how I like it. And then additionally, we're going to have 10 games Board Game Co. needs to teach us. Devin and Meg filmed a video. This is actually a while ago. This is like, I don't know how long. It was a while ago, several months ago. But when they were here one trip, they did a video of 10 games Board Game Co. needs to teach us. I think I've done one of that 10 so far, maybe 2. I have to check. I've checked the list. I've done some of them, but and the others I'll be doing soon. One of them, no, I'm not going to spoil it. But either way, you can watch the video. Check that out. It's hopefully a fun video. It should be going up maybe Sunday. We'll see. And then from there, going to the games on the table. Games on the table, as usual, these are the games that I am hoping to get tabled sooner rather than later. We have Huang over here, which I believe is a re-theme or slight difference of Yellow and Yangtze, which is a new version of Tigers and Euphrates. That was different, but Yellow Yangtze and Tigers and Euphrates are different but similar, and I believe Huang is basically Yellow and Yangtze redone. We have Earth from Inside Up Games. Would love to play that this weekend. We'll see what happens. If I do or don't, I don't know. I want to. We have Marvel United X-Men, which I will definitely be playing when Devin shows up. Some or multiple of these things. And then Rum and Bones, I'm hoping to play with Devin as well. Rum and Bones is a game I have not tabled in way too long, but it's a great game. I think it's a great game. No, I know it's a great game. I played it a lot. I really like it. It's a great game. I like it a lot. Anyways, with that, we're going to go ahead and close this up. This has been your News and Week in Review. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. And as always, I hope you have a good one.